President, have the protests forced you to reconsider any of the policies with regard to the region?
No. Thank you.
Mr. President, do you think the National Guard should intervene?
No.
Joe Biden, once again, not taking a strong stance when it comes to these pro-Hamas protests on college campuses. Meantime, law enforcement has been taking a closer look as they break up the riots. The realization now clearer than ever, someone is funding all of this division. For more, I'm joined by the founding director and president for the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy, Dr. Charles Asher Small. Also with us here in studio, the president for the Northern Teaneck Synagogue Association and marketing director for the Jewish Learning Initiative on campus, Joseph Katz. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us. Doctor, let's start off with you first. The mayor of New York believes outside forces are influencing these students. I want you to take a listen.
One of the individuals' husband was arrested for and convicted for terrorism. On a federal level, once we were able to identify some of the other people, I knew that there was no way I was going to allow those children to be exploited the way they were being exploited. And many people thought that this was just a natural evolution of a protest. It was not.
No.
These were professionals that were here. And I just want to send a clear message out that there are people who are harmful and are trying to radicalize our children.
Doctor, who do you think is behind this radicalization that we've been seeing happening years in the making? And this was organized. They didn't happen organically, these protests.
Correct. First of all, thank you very much for having me. I think this is a very important issue. A few days ago, the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy, ISGAP, we just published a report on SJP, the Students for Justice in Palestine. And they have over 250 chapters at universities across the United States. And what we show in our report is that they're directly connected to a group called AMP, the American Muslims for Palestine. AMP is directly connected to the Muslim Brotherhood. And I think for your listeners to understand, the Muslim Brotherhood, it sounds like a nice kind of fraternal organization, but the Muslim Brotherhood is a very reactionary form of political reactionary Islam. It's a perversion of Islam that's fused with European genocidal anti-Semitism and even Nazism. And the head of the Muslim Brotherhood, the spiritual head of the Muslim Brotherhood for many years, has been preaching that the true believer, the true Muslim, is obligated to complete the work of Adolf Hitler, i.e. to kill Jewish people around the world and to destroy Israel. SJP is connected to this ideology and to this movement. And it's very important to note that days after the attack on October the 7th, the Students for Justice in Palestine issued a calling that they were not just supporting the Palestinians or the people of Gaza. They said that they are Hamas. They are Hamas. And we know that Hamas is an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood. And the Muslim Brotherhood is connected to the Qatari regime, a very wealthy regime of less than 350,000 citizens, that has a spiritual oath, a bay'ah in Islam, to the Muslim Brotherhood. So they claim to be friends of the United States and of the West and represent our interests in the Gulf. But we have to remember that they're funding American universities more than any other country in the world, despite having less than 350,000 citizens. So why is such a tiny country with this allegiance to a genocidal, anti-Semitic, anti-American social movement funding our universities and connected to these student organizations? And really, we should be grateful to Mayor Adams and the NYPD because it seems that they're taking this connection very seriously.
It is an unbelievable connection. And then you have a lot of our prominent Jewish leaders. They've been staying silent. Chuck Schumer, right? He's the highest ranking Jewish politician in the nation. He's been quiet on all of this. Jason Miller, who is a longtime advisor to President Trump, he called Schumer out. Joseph, I want you to take a listen to what he said.
It's very clear that the wokeism that's taken over the Democrat Party, and we see it at a place like Columbia University, where they don't know what to do because they want to kowtow to the wokeism, the squad, the AOCs of the world. And it's amazing to watch so many of these prominent politicians who are right here in New York who don't do a thing about it. Chuck Schumer, where are you? Why are you silent? How can you stand by as people are out there putting out such anti-Semitic, hateful rhetoric and Democrats do nothing about it?
And Joseph, meantime, you've got Schumer. He's now inviting Bibi, Prime Minister Netanyahu, to speak before Congress. But he was just recently talking about, oh, let's have a change. He's meddling in the elections. How disappointed are you in Chuck Schumer?
Well, it's unfortunate. And first, thank you for having me today. This is not a political issue, right?
Right.
It's a hate. You're hating Jews for being Jews, and it's unacceptable, regardless of whether you're Republican, Democrat, left, right. It's really that simple. So politics should take a side step to this and address the issue of anti-Semitism straight on.
Absolutely. Doctor, the fallout from these protests are far from over. A lot of these schools, they have huge endowments, right? Donors are threatening to stop funding these universities. You can take a look here. You got Harvard University, $51 billion, Yale, $40 billion. I mean, it's incredible. And now a couple of House committees are looking into cutting off federal funding for these schools as well, for allowing all of this hatred to be spewed across all of our campuses. Is that the way to kind of finally get the attention of these college presidents, to hit them where it hurts in their bank accounts?
Look, I hope so. Universities receive federal funding, and under Title VI, as you know, any discrimination against an identifiable group is against the law. And I think that the Congress and the Senate seems to be taking these issues very seriously. I think what the universities have been doing is morally repugnant. To take billions, and I'm choosing my words carefully, tens of billions of dollars from the Qatari regime to their universities, and we wonder why in a state that supports the Muslim Brotherhood ideology funding our universities, we should not be shocked that students are showing up on campus wearing masks and kafirs or headscarves, hiding their identity and chanting horrific anti-Semitic slogans, calling actually for the annihilation of Jewish people around the world and the destruction of the United States of America. And we need strong moral leadership from our university presidents,
Absolutely.
political leadership in both parties. There should be no space in the democratic country, the greatest democratic country in the world,
Right.
for this type of reactionary, anti-democratic, anti-American, and anti-Semitic hate on campus. We wouldn't allow students in white sheets to come to campus, but we're allowing this to take place.
Absolutely. Before we go, Joseph, I want to get your quick reaction. What goes through your mind to hear that they're supporting Nazism and Hitler? I mean, and this is happening in America. Real quick, I just want your...
And today, right, the segment right before this, Holocaust Memorial Day is tonight. It's, never again is now. On the positive side, the Jewish students on campus are standing up loud and proud. They're not hiding their faces. They're supporting Israel. They're supporting the United States. They're doing the right thing, and it's unfortunate. Hopefully, some of the things that are going on the other side and the people who are funding this the students will wake up, the administrations will wake up and do something.
And that pin is for the hostages?
Yeah, you gotta remember there's still people stuck in Gaza.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. We have to leave it right there. Thank you.
Thank you.